Hello and welcome to another Coffee with Colin. Thanks very much for tuning in. The objective behind this series of Coffees with Colin is whereby I take my business journey as chronicled in my book, Feeding Johnny How to Build a Business Despite the Roadblocks, and share elements of my business journey on a weekly basis over a cup of coffee for about 5 minutes or so, in the hopes that by me sharing my business journey, it can afford you a shortcut where back in the day I had none. And today what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the importance of you and I getting very clear on what it is that we sell, what it is that we stand for, particularly at the early stages of our business development. So I want to do so by talking about two great business leaders, Henry Ford and Michael O'Leary. Now, regardless of your viewpoints on either, I think there are lessons to be learned from both. So let me start with Henry Ford. Henry Ford, as you probably know, is the founder of the Ford Motor Company, and his Model T back in the day, about 100 years ago, stole 50% of the available market in the US for the new motor car. That was against the backdrop of almost 1,800 other car manufacturers at that time clamoring for the remaining 50%. Most of them didn't survive. Most of them, in fact, died of starvation. And Ford is renowned for being the founder of the production line. He's also renowned for the saying that any customer for the Model T can have any colour they want, so long as it's black. So you can have any Model T in any colour so long as it's black. And what's significant about that is that he absolutely nailed down what it is that he was selling. And if he didn't find a client who wanted a black Model T, well, then he simply moved on and he left that prospective client to any one of the other 1,800 competitors that wanted him. And he stole a march on the entire market by sticking to his guns. One product, one Model T, and you could have it in any colour you liked so long as it was black. And there's magic in those words. Roll forward almost 100 years and we've got Michael O'Leary. And Michael O'Leary is renowned for growing an airline called Ryanair that is in fact the fifth largest airline in the world today by passenger number, having carried over 100 million passengers in 2015. And O'Leary is renowned for saying, lads, we're a one-trick pony. It's very simple. Anybody can copy us. We simply do the lowest fares. That's it. And while his competition was looking to increase fares back in the day, he kept asking himself, how do I cut out cost? And therefore, how do I reduce fares? And as a result, Ryanair is the fifth largest airline in the world. One-trick pony. Lowest fares available. So the Model T in any colour you want, so long as it's black, became low fares in the airline industry. And as a result, Henry Ford stole 50% of the available market, and Michael O'Leary grew the fifth largest airline in the world. And if we look at Carambola and the relative success of Carambola, we're not Ford and we're not Ryanair or anything like it, but we've not done badly as an SME in Ireland. We started out 13 years ago, in fact this month, October 13 years ago, with 27 lunches for our first daily order. We had a revenue total for the week, for our first week of trade, of €162. And then 2 weeks ago we had our busiest ever week in Carambola to date, and that was a revenue of over €208,000 in 1 week. And how did we do it? Well, we learned the lessons from Henry Ford and we learned the lessons from Michael O'Leary, and we decided very early on that we needed a Model T. And our Model T is a very simple little lunch bag. In that lunch bag is a sandwich, a piece of fruit, a drink, and 2 healthy treats. That's it. That's what we do. You can have choice within the lunch bag, but that's it. We don't sell sandwiches. We don't sell drinks. We don't sell apples, any of that on their own. We sell them in little lunch bags. And as a result, we've grown our business from 27 lunches 13 years ago per day to 24,000 lunches per day today. So I think that there are lessons in that for all of us. Interestingly, in Henry Ford's case, in Michael O'Leary's case, and indeed in Carambola's case, the sticking to your guns works for so long. In other words, you can steal a march on the marketplace in those early years in your business, so long as you stick to your guns, so long as you know what your Model T is. But you can stick to those guns for so long to steal a march in the competition, gain significant market share, and it's then and only then that you need, but you must, then innovate. And of course, Ford had to innovate, and new models had to come in, and new colours had to come in, and he lost market share. 2014, I think it was, he had 14% of the market share of the US market instead of 50%. Ryanair has had to soften its cough. Michael O'Leary, you probably know, has been quite controversial over the years, but in recent years, those of us that know Ryanair and have flown Ryanair will know that he's softened his cough a little bit. He is open to you and I bringing hand luggage and a handbag, or hand luggage and a laptop. And they're not quite as strict as they were in terms of weighing your luggage when you get to check in, and we're not quite as fearful as though of those excessive charges. And in Carambola's case, we've got to ask ourselves, where is the future of the school meals business going to be? Our Model T, our lunch bag, will continue to feature for sure, but as one of my Carambola colleagues, a gentleman called Paddy Curley, has often said to me, we need to learn how to obsolete our product before somebody else does. So that's it for today. Find out what your Model T is and stick to it long enough to gain significant market share, and then test the market and see when it is that you need to innovate. Ford has done it, Ryanair has done it, and Carambola is doing it, and I wish you well. And thank you very much for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colm. I hope and trust that you got something from it. If you've enjoyed it and you think somebody else would benefit from it, please pass the link on to somebody else. I'd very much appreciate that. If it's your first time stumbling across a Coffee with Colm and you like the type of concept that's been shared here today and you'd like more, pop to our homepage, colmobrienmotivation.com, leave us your details, and we'll make sure you get something like this on a weekly basis. Most importantly, please consider what's been shared here today and apply it into your thinking for the next week or so. And then equally as importantly, please come back next week and let's share another coffee together. And I'll share another business snippet, another lesson from my journey to see where it might lead both of us. In the meantime, have a great weekend, get some great coffee, get some rest, and get ready for another great week next week. Cheers. Delicious. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.